Hey everybody, I am here with David Tao from Israel. He's a major in the IDF, and we were able to get him for our Truth About Israel conference. And so we're excited to have him. David, thank you for being here. Awesome to have you, man.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of not sure I can say that I'm really happy I'm here, because what's going over there is kind of harsh, and maybe that kind of connects to what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like God sent me over here to personalize what's going on in Israel.
Okay.
Meaning to take it off the prophecy channel,
Sure.
the documentary channel, the news channel,
Right.
and remind people it's about people. It's about people on the ground. It's about people living in the towns. It's about soldiers now inside Gaza. It's about how the story of Israel connects to all of the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully with everything that's going to be going on here today, we'll be able to tie the personal story of the Israelis and the Jewish people into all of these biblical prophetic events that we'll be talking about.
Amen. Amen. You're a guy that's on the front lines. You've been on the front lines in a lot of places. Kind of give a brief overview so people understand your experience of being on the front line with the IDF.
Well, in Israel, everybody goes into the military. I'm going to say the army because the word in Hebrew for army and military is the same. But everybody goes in for 3 years. Okay. So you get drafted. So by the time you're 16, you're more or less, the army's trying to figure out where you're going to go. I tried Air Force, got kicked out, ended up in the Tank Corps. Okay. And after my 3 regular years, I decided to sign on a couple more years in order to be an officer. So if you're an officer, you do a few more years. And after you finish your regular army, what we say, you get put into a reserve unit, similar to your National Guard.
Okay.
A little bit of difference is we do a month a year, more or less. And we do training, but we also do actually border patrol and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So I tend to say that the military has been a part of my life all my life.
Okay.
And I've switched different careers along the way, but I never switched my military career, and it's been a part of what we're doing. Now, in order to understand a little bit about Israel and the military, you have to understand that we live in a hostile environment. Yeah. Israel lives in a hard place. Yeah. In order to be able to live in a hostile environment like that, we have to be able to defend ourselves, which is why we spend and we put so much effort and time and money into the military. But it's also why we were so surprised by what happened on October 7th, and it shook us to our core, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's the $64,000 question everyone's asking. How did that happen? Israel's always watching their borders and whatnot, and you're going to speak to that a little bit, I guess.
And we will go connect. But if you want to say it, well, I'm not going to say a teaser, but if you want to understand a little bit, is that we have allowed ourselves to become appeased and placated and deceived into thinking that the enemy is not so much the enemy, and he's trying to reach an appeasement. Yeah. And one of the things that happened on that Black Saturday exactly 6 weeks ago, I mean, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened is that we realized that, and again, if you're in the Christian environment here, that's something that I think can relate to. There is such a thing as evil in the world. Yeah. And that evil is not always on the surface. And many times that evil is bubbling and churning. And we got smacked by the evil. And the reason that we got smacked so bad, we didn't realize, and we weren't on guard, and we weren't prepared for the kind of evil that we came up against.
Yeah, wow. We were having dinner the other night, and you mentioned that this war in Israel is going to be fought on several fronts. And you mentioned another front that most people don't think about, the truth front. Explain that, what you're going to be talking about, what you were saying to me over dinner.
In a nutshell, again, there's the battle that's going on in the ground for Israel, with Israel. And again, this is a conference that deals with, the prophetic part of it, the biblical part of it. Yeah. And we can go into how the history leads into the present, that leads into the future. We can tie all that. But as I realized what happened and how terrible it was in Israel, I'm looking across the ocean at my friends on the other side of the ocean who were great supporters of Israel
Yeah.
or people. So there's a lot of people on the other side that are going to yell death to Israel and and all the other them I'm not going to convince. But
Yeah.
I was watching and I saw that the truth of what happened wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
Or was being diverted or was being turned around.
Yeah.
And I realized that something has happened to the concept of truth, because what happened on the ground in Israel was very, very clear. We have pictures, we have videos, and then a lot of people weren't accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, wait a minute, the concept of truth is dead. I mean, what happened to truth?
Right.
And then you think about it for a minute, you know that truth has eroded, devolved, dissipated in our culture. So when this event happens, and if there's not a concept of what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false,
Right.
then everything becomes relative.
Yeah.
And that is a war on the concept of truth that I think is part of the war, that what happened in Israel is a part of something much greater.
Yeah. And I think a spiritual battle. A spiritual
Exactly.
battle is going on. And so we're excited that you're here. I know it's not over good terms, obviously, because of the war in Israel, but the truth needs to get out.
The truth needs to get out, and what I will be saying to the people here is, you have to fight for the truth.
Amen.
I mean, you don't. The truth is not taken for granted anymore in our society.
Yeah.
Okay, it needs to be fought for, and we're going to have to stand up. And hopefully, we will pass that message. And I'm passing it to the people who will be watching us online.
Yeah.
Listen to what we have, but this is a battle for truth.
Amen. Amen. So, folks, again, go to our website, rockharborchurch.net. Get the package deal that you can get for $30. You can get all the speakers. You're going to hear David Dow explain in great detail what's going on the ground there. He's got a right on the line view. He's not a bird's eye view. He's right there on the line, and he knows it. So make sure you get that, and then take that truth out and give it out to people. Make sure you disseminate this information out that we give you, and that we can be on the edge of this war and win the war for truth. All right, David, thank you so much, my friend. God bless you.